So, well, I was originally going to invite people, but I figured I'd just do this by myself. Yeah, just making sure. Let me just. Anyway, let's get started. Roman in Moscow music video. This refers to a music video for a song by rapper and pop singer Nicki Minaj. It was promoted as a single recorded by Nicki and released in December 2nd, 2011, that served as a teaser for her second studio album, Pink Friday Roman Reloaded. The basic plot revolved around Nicki's alter ego, Roman Zola, escaping from a Russian boarding school that he had been sent to by his mother, Martha. Upon its release, it was a moderate success, and presumably an attempt to further promote a music video was produced. The music video has not been released, and it's unknown if it was ever, but it's unknown why it was. However, one can yes, okay, one can kind of guess, because okay, Nicki has since shown distaste for the song, so it may have contributed to it not being released. It's very unlikely that the music video will ever be released. Roy del Espacio. This was also known as Roy from Space. This was a Mexican animated film directed by Hector Lopez Carmona, Rafael Angel and Ulysses P. Aguirre. That was produced from 1979 to 1982, being released in 12 theaters in Mexico City in 1983. The info about the film is pretty much not available to the public. Barely any information is available, but Lost Media Wiki and no footage exists online, though a few stills and posters have been found. Sable Redemption. Yeah, more Mexican animated movies. This one was actually made in 2009. However, it went unreleased. It stands out for being one of the attempts to bring adult animation to Mexican cinemas, as well as its high technical quality compared to others of its kind. Here's the plot. Legend says that in 1490, a noble English merchant was shipwrecked off of the coast of Spain, being saved by a young woman with whom he fell madly in love. When he wanted her to escape with her, he was killed by Hector de Soto, a military man. More than 700 years later, the nobleman revived to realize that this miracle was caused by a vampire bite at the time that Soto was actually a werewolf. The film has never been released and only fractions can be seen, as well as 2 videos containing leaked scenes and and 2 trailers. Samsung doorways. At the IFA trade show in Berlin in 2018, Samsung released a game called Doorways, which was a game in AR and experience in collaboration with the show Family Guy, which would allow people to view the inside of the see the inside of the Griffin's house. The technology was cutting edge, and combined that it's based on a well-known property like Family Guy, it's understandable why it was memorable to those who saw it. The game was never shown available outside of this event. And with the show's eventual buyout by Disney, it's unlikely it will ever receive a release. This game will only ever exist in the mind for those who played it, and some screenshots as well as some videos. Okay, just making sure I work. Moving on. Sega Swirl 2. Sega Swirl 2 was a PC game as a sequel to the popular Sega Swirl puzzle game, released exclusively for the GameTap service. And since the service shut down, it has not been dumped online. It's basically just a simple puzzle game which borrows a lot of from a lot of other puzzle games from the. The only stuff that exists are 3 blurry screenshots of YouTube videos showing gameplay, and that's it. As well as this, the game's soundtrack was also excludable. Well, with only 2 songs being dumped, with the rest of the songs' whereabouts being unknown. Seriously, dude, I'm gay. Seriously, Dude, I'm Gay was an unaired reality television series that was intended to premiere with a 2-hour special on Fox in June 2004. In the show, 2 heterosexual or straight men would compete in a competition to see how they would live as a homosexual man. They would also be required to tell and convince other people, like their family friends, that they were the competitors. The competitors were gay. And at the end, the 2 would be judged by other gay men, and whoever was the quote unquote gayest would win half 100,000. It attracted controversy from the LGBTQ plus group, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, or GLAAD, about its offensive content. They also had been shown a copy of the pilot in advance. And as such, Fox never aired the show. No episodes have surfaced, and it's very unlikely to, considering the controversy. Sesame Street gymnast segments. The gymnast segments were a series of Sesame segments on the show Sesame Street, which include a female gymnast with blonde hair and wearing a black leotard who demonstrates various concepts using various gym apparatuses, like pummel horses and uneven bars, in a dark location. The only shorts that were available are around and between. And on New Year's Day 2023, this year, exactly at midnight, the six remaining were uploaded to YouTube by user Walsh Media Wiki user Yoshi Killer 2S. Yoshi had apparently received the shorts back in late October 2002 from a throwaway Discord account, only held on to releasing them until 2023 to start the year off with a bang. SimCity 4 Alpha and Beta builds. SimCity 4 is a 2003 city building PC game developed by Maxis and published by EA. During development, it received multiple preview screenshots, and some of them are accurate to the final game, which features graphics not final game. None of the alpha or beta versions have been released or leaked. They can roughly be categorized in what appear to be early versions, and only screenshots exist. Smile. It was an abandoned album by American pop group The Beach Boys, originally intended to follow their 1966 album Pet Sounds. It was highly ambitious and was to be unlike any other record ever made. It would have included complex orchestrations, two suites, found sounds, a cappella, short comedy skits, and notably their 1996 hit Good Vibrations. However, the project became infamous for its collapse. A combination of overhyping, group infighting, the departure of lyrics Van Dyke Parks, and the deteriorating mental state of Brian Wilson meant that the project would be postponed and officially scrapped upon release of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Though most of the Smile record sessions have been released through the Smile Sessions box set, much of the recordings still remain unreleased. It's very unlikely that will ever see the light of day in full. Space Jockey. Space Jockey was an unfinished film by film director Phil Tucker, who's mostly known for directing the 1953 science fiction movie Robot Monster, often listed among the worst movies of all time. And before that, he started working on a movie that he never finished, Space Jockey. Tucker describes the lost film as probably the worst film ever made, and that, quote, that's ever been made by anyone, anywhere, a real piece of shit, while he is viewed his other films as okay. This brings a lot of speculation to many vintage B-movie fans. No copy has ever returned, and it will likely remain lost, as Tucker himself isn't alive, and he himself was unable to recover a print, meaning that this film has probably lost forever. Spider-Man Trilogy, deleted scenes. The first films in the Spider-Man franchise had a number of scenes that were shortened or removed completely, and of the many reported scenes that have been cut, many of them have surfaced. However, 39 scenes in total have surfaced. These include 13 from the original first movie, 17 from the second film, and 9 from the third movie. It's unknown if the rest of the films will ever get to see the light of day. though it's possible that they could. SpongeBob Town. Also known as SpongeBob SquarePants Online, this was an on this was a canceled MMO developed by Blue Arc Global and published by Gigameb Limited in association with Nickelodeon. Obviously based on the popular Nickelodeon series. Was developed throughout 2011 and 2012 and with a release date in 2013. And despite being very far in development, it was abruptly canceled for unknown reasons. And basically, it's a business type game. Unknown why the game was canceled, and all that exists is its logo, various pieces of concept videos and concept and gameplay images and some Spy Kids deleted scenes. Spy Kids is a 2001 inspired adventure comedy film written, produced, and edited by Robert Rodriguez. It was theatrically released in the U.S. in 2001 by Dimensions Films and grossed over $147 million worldwide. There were several deleted scenes, which too many for me to list, and though some can be some clips as well as a few teasers some teasers and a teaser and a trailer that have deleted scenes. Most of the deleted scenes have not been released and have a slim chance of ever being found. Stereotype. Stereotype was an album created by Tyler the Creator under the name Ace the Creator, or who actually released this on his MySpace page back in 2007, along with another one called At Your Own Risk. And while that one is fully found, this is only partially. What the closest thing that we have right now is some instrumentals by YouTuber name 2 a.m. in Los Angeles. And while some songs made it onto other albums, some others are still lost. It's unknown if Tyler would be open to release them, so don't hold your breath. Subway perfection advertisement. Oh boy, this is a very funny one. So yeah. In the mid 90s, the sandwich chain Subway used to broadcast a low quality commercial for their subs. And unlike their usual ones, it was used amateur actors, poor production quality, and cheap effects that of a local TV ad or a public access show. It involved a bald middle-aged man and who quotes hungers for perfection, and with an old bearded man who is called a sage and saying perfection can be his, and taking his anger to Subway subs. And a montage, and then you end the commercial. Yeah. The commercial was brought to the attention to the internet in 2019 by a YouTuber named Julius Von Brunk, who also goes by Verif Von Brunk. He made a mini documentary to chronicle his search for the lost commercial, and in his video, he reenacts the commercial synopsis with the use of Lego puppets in stop motion. And according to Julius, he recalls seeing this commercial frequently shown on TV in South Central Pennsylvania, to the point of it becoming a running joke among him and his friends at the time. And he posted it on Reddit, and it immediately gained the contention of multiple restaurants who soon seen the commercial, but for other restaurants such as Mr. Sub or Quiznos. And Locksmith Wiki even made their own On the Hunt campaign. On January of 2021, the Instagram user Vidiot_Savant uploaded the commercial in his account with the description, quote, "Going through some tapes I got from someone in Pennsylvania, and I saw this awesome, super weird regional Subway commercial from the 90s. Any of you Pennsylvanians remember this when this, along with a little breadstick emoji. This went undiscovered until April 25th of the same year, when someone shared it to Barron, confirming it to be the real commercial. And the reenactment is actually surprisingly accurate, though not perfect, obviously, but impressive. And this is one of the best, and that commercial is one of the best things ever. Watch it if you haven't. Moving on, Sword of Justice. Sword of Justice was a drama series that aired on NBC in the fall of 1978. It was about a playboy who was wrongly convicted of a crime and sentenced to 3 years, and after he was released, he pursues his life as a vigilante, leaving playing cards with criminals he's soon to apprehend. And while he was in prison, he learned skills from criminals he's held with. There were at the ABC's Vegas was a more popular show until they kept airing the show until ratings were so low. NBC held the last episode, eventually airing it a year later in '79. The pilot of this episode is 2 hours long, which essentially makes it a movie. That's the only one, as other than an opening sequence and a cast photo. It's unknown if the rest of the series will ever be found. Tias et Bonjour d'Albert, French dub, Carlosik. I'm pretty sure most people remember Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, a show that ran from 1972 to 1984. And when the show was exported to France, the French TV station Canal Plus editing, outside of renaming the show as Tias et Bonjour d'Albert, which can be translated to "You've Got the Hello from Albert," giving the show a new opening. Change was its features. And Bill Cosby himself was actually replaced by someone named starring the countrywide known French singer, entertainer, and actor Carlos. Instead of the set resembling a junkyard, which was much more tropical, keeping in style with Carlos's fun beach-going persona. He also voices Fat Albert in the dub, just as Bill Cosby did in the original. Some episodes have been uploaded to YouTube in Dailymotion by TV archivists, but this is lost media, and the only known releases are some VHS tapes released by the company Kidvision. Tales of Mystery. This was a British supernatural television drama anthology based on the short stories of Algernon Blackwood, hosted by actor John Laurie, who portrayed Arthur Blackwood himself, and aired from 1961 to 1963. Despite the show's popularity and source material and author, none of the show's 29 episodes have survived. And this, of course, was affected by the tape wiping practices which were common at the time. Terror Twilight unreleased songs. Terror Twilight was an album by indie rock band Pavement, who released the album at the time. The album received mixed reviews due to its largely overproduced sound and lack of musical focus. Despite two songs that were recorded for the record not being released, those being songs For Sale, The Preston School of Industry, and Shagbag. It never released until January 11th of 2022, after over a decade of rumors of speculation. Matador Records, the band's label, I believe, they announced the deluxe reissue of Pavement's Terror Twilight, which included band sessions, Malcolmus demos, a 1998 recording For Sale, The Preston School Industry, Shagbag, and Be the Hook, which fans had no prior knowledge of until the announcement, and was released on April 8th, 2022. And the album can now be purchased, I guess. The Adventures of Vupa the Goulash animated series found. Production material from further series and film lost. Okay, The Adventures of Vupa the Goulash is a 2007 New Zealand animated series originally conceived in South Africa and created by digital graphics artist Craig White. And it was apparently to protect the goulash species that are preserved for the much-loved goulash soup. However, it was originally supposed to be released in other countries, but it received little to no distribution. However, all episodes of the series were made. 13 were found as of April of 2021, but further series and films have not been released. And the series also airs on a Greek children's channel called Smile TV since 2012 and still does to this day. But the other production material for this franchise is lost. The Awful Truth About Society. The Awful Truth About Society was a public access TV show that aired on Misulo Community Access Television that stars Emmett K, the punk rocker, previously known as Rabbit the Dog Punk, who was born in 1967. It used to air at 4 p.m., but then used to air rare specials on Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. The show was aired from December 10th, 1994 to September 2015, when Emmett announced his retirement. The last known appearance of the show was back in 2020. Some episodes can be found, but lots are still missing. The show seemingly got a meme, as on March 29th of 2015, Vine user Sturfer posted the infamous clip of Emmett saying, "It's my anarchy symbol." However, the original user who posted it was Felix the Poop Cat on February 21st of that year. Soon gained popularity with multiple Tumblr users drawing their characters saying the phrase. So, yeah, lost media memes. The Blood Red Tape of Charity. This is a 1913 silent short drama propaganda film directed by Universal Film Manufacturing Company under its Powers label. Written and directed by Edwin August, it stars August as a gentleman thief called Marks attempting to help the Weldon family, who have fallen onto hard times and were unable to receive timely aid from charities because of the organization's red tape is mainly used as propaganda. And while the film is lost, stills and advertisements, a still and some advertisements can be found. But that's it. The Cops, canceled TBS animated series as production material. The Cops was an animated series that planned to air on TBS, created by Albert Brooks and Louis C.K. According to the description of the show from TBS, the cops follow Al and Lou, two LAPD patrolmen trying their best to protect and serve, sometimes failing at both. Ride with them as they patrol one of the biggest cities in the world, then go home with them and be glad you're not married to either. TBS originally ordered 10 episodes of the show, but later shelved the project. Louis C.K., one of the creators of the show, admitted that he committed sexual misconduct on several women throughout his career, causing various projects involved in, including this one, to be canceled or put on hold. Oh, and the same thing happened with The Secret Life of Pet. I guess The Secret Life of Pets too. What I mean is basically CK originally was going to voice Max again like he did in the original movie, but eventually he was recast as Max was recast as Patton Oswalt. And the show was originally planned to The Cops was planned to recast Lou with a new voice. It was scrapped. The only footage that comes from the show is a snippets are on a video announcing multiple new projects to TBS. There hasn't been any new episodes or footage released, and has a very slim chance of ever doing so. The Degrassi Kids rap on rights. This is a 10-minute video starring the cast of the Canadian television series Degrassi High, coinciding with the ratification of the United States Convention on the Rights of the Child. And they basically just freaking rap. The video largely explains children's rights using the 3 Ps: provision, protection, and participation, and features anecdotes and recollections from 3 cast members who grew up as refugees. The evidence was mentioned in a Playing with Time newsletter and in the book The Official 411, Degrassi Generations. It was only released to Canadian schools, and it fell into obscurity with the Degrassi Forum. That was until 2022 when a lot of received. And on November 2nd, a member of the Degrassi preservation server on Discord received screen-recorded footage of the full video from a contact to YouTube as a premiere. This was superseded on March 10th of this year by a direct VHS copy, courtesy of server member Blue Light. So, yeah. The Doctor Who years. The Doctor Who years were a series of documentaries detailing the history of the show of BBC's Doctor Who, released on its official website in early 2005, as a tie-in to the show's revival that year. Hold on. What? What? Sorry about that. I had to do something. Anyway, despite it was designed to inform new viewers about the show's history. These were never released on any DVDs. However, the full versions were shared by commenter X Sandian via Google Drive in December of 2021 and were re-uploaded to the Internet Archive. The Gnomes of Dulwich. This was a British sitcom TV series that aired in 1960. The story is about three stone gnomes who come to life when darkness falls, living their own life. They would look at human behavior from their own perspective, discussing what is happening at home, while showing the same snobbish approach to their plastic neighbors. The show was well received, but wasn't successful enough to warrant another season. Little known of this because all 6 episodes are lost. The original tapes were wiped in the 1970s, and only audio fragments of the first episode for all 6 episodes have been preserved in the present day, but barely any footage. The Good Guys. This was a slapstick-style comedy that starring Bob Denver and Herb Edelman that aired on CBS between 1968 and 1970. Originally set to be titled Two Good Guys, it was Bob Denver's first after Gilligan's Island, and was Edelman's first as both starring and recurring character. While the series started off slow in the Nielsen rating system, it gained traction with reviews slowly and rose to the top third of television programming before the first. While the series was renewed for a second season, it had to change a lot of details. Despite praise, it fell victim to low ratings of being canceled alongside the Leslie Uggam Show being replaced by the Tim Conway Show. Multiple episodes have been uploaded to YouTube, with some episodes being in 3 videos. The series was released in both black and white and color, with both only available in 4 of the 2. Episodes 9 of season 1 was found in color on YouTube, but the channel that uploaded it is gone. The Goodnight Show with Melanie/Leo. Here, all right, we're back to the Goodnight Show. Now, this programming block actually... Now, before the one and while Michelle Lepe became very popular, there were 2 others, more obscure hosts that came before. Melanie Martinez and Noel McNeil, who is an actor, and Noel McNeil, who I think is more known for being Bear from Bear in the Big Blue House. Now, the show, for the first 2 seasons, hosted by Melanie and Hush, her pet goldfish. Sprout called Melanie a babysitter, and she talked to the viewers like one. She liked to talk with Hush and draw pictures of him, and she did various night, and they did various things. However, when season 2 was airing, Martinez notified Sprout that she had appeared in 2 parody commercials from the Technical Virgin website 6 years earlier. This was because 2 unauthorized uploads of the commercials had resurfaced online. And even though the information was disclosed in her resume when applying for the job several years later, Melanie was fired by Sprout since the commercials contained inappropriate dialogue. PBS's own ombudsman, Michael Gettler, supported Melanie and criticized her firing. Melanie herself was quoted as saying, "I'm sad that I don't have a job and also sad that I don't have that job." And then from September to December of 2006, Noel McNeil became an host for The Goodnight Show, alongside Star. new puppet called Lucy the Firefly, who from point on would introduce shows and hang out in the Leo and the Goodnight Garden. During his time on the show, the Moonwheel and yoga and craft segments were suspended. Shadow play was permanently removed. Tales was modified to a different storytime segment, and a brand new segment where the hosts asked a question, Sproutlets provide answers, was also. A lot of the content that was made is missing to this day. And since then, fans have been trying to find these versions. The Incel Project. This was a TVMA rated Blip TV original documentary series released from 2008 to 2012. It was featured in the original series section of it, and yeah, the series sounds like exactly what it sounds like. And the show has since been gone. And from what I hear, reviews were pretty mixed. And some episodes can be found. There is no completely found episode, and only the first two are partially found, the rest being lost, and a final cut which is not confirmed to exist. The Laughing Salesman live-action TV series. This was a Japanese dark comedy / horror / fantasy / psychological thriller manga created by Fujiko Fuijo, also known for creating Doraemon. Began as a one-shot series in 1968 and got its own live-action series starting in 1999. From June 26 to September 18. Only one of the 10. There were 10 episodes, and only the 8th episode has been archived. Only. That 8th episode is split into 3 parts on a site called Nico Video. It's unknown if the rest of the series will be archived, so yeah. The Legend of Dark Horse County. This was a 2014 thriller film directed by and starring Sean and also and Lee Majors. It also won a few awards. The film is about John and Joy Ford moving into the small town of Dark Horse. A chain of abductions and deaths forced Sheriff McElroy to use any means necessary to keep his beloved town from tumbling into chaos. And when Joy's nieces are kidnapped, they must race to find the abductor, and in turn comes to face with a monster. Despite the recognizable names in the movie, it has never been released to home media, and there's never been a reason why. Especially for a film this recent. There are 2 trailers and a variety of screenshots. In a YouTube comment for the trailer of another Sean Welling movie, If I Could Run, he stated that he would release the film in mid-2018. But this never happened, and people have still yet to receive and see the movie, and said comment has since been deleted. The Man Who Could Not Sleep. This was an early silent film made by the Edison Company, who at the time made notable films, released in 1915. In the film, a judge sentences a woman to prison for 30 days. However, in rage against the unfair sentence, she hopes that the judge never sleeps, and the curse and causes the judge to, well, go insane, I guess. No footage of the film exists, other than few stills shown in magazines. The Milton Bradley Omni Entertainment System. This was a game console released by Milton Bradley around 1980 via their MB Electronics division. It was designed. The console was designed to allow up to 4 people to sit around it and use the built-in keypads to answer trivia questions, and were stored on 8 track tapes, similar to the famous Mego 2. And after they were gone, on November 8th of 2020, it wasn't until that year when the final cartridge, for the fun of it, was uploaded to the Internet Archive, and making all of them completely found. The Lost Media Wiki has a list of what's what, and as of today, like I said, as of today, all of them have been found. The Mitch Hedberg Project. Okay, so before I continue, this Lost MTV pilot was actually known to me thanks to a video by Lost Media Wiki user ComedyFan74. Shout out to him, by the way. Anyway, this was a pilot pitched to MTV by the late comedian Mitch Hedberg. In the show, comedian Mitch Hedberg brings his friends along for a 7-day comedy tour around California, and is a mix of interviews, stand-up comedy, and behind-the-scenes pranks. Parts of the pilot are viewable without sound on YouTube. The only known copy is owned by Hedberg's friend Possum Man, but there is currently no distribution as the rights to the video are unknown. Mitch Hedberg's widow, Lynn Shawcroft, asked comedian Doug Stanhope if he had seen the pilot through X in 2017. Stanhope confirmed the existence of the pilot when he shared the documentary based on one of the comedians from the show, and as of 2019, as of today, it's still unavailable to the public. The Oregon Trail, 1936 John Wayne Western film. Oregon Trail was a Western movie starring John Wayne, distributed by Republic Pictures in 1936. And no, this has nothing to do with the series of educational video games, as this was way before that was a real thing. Despite being released at a time when the actor was already established as a Western icon, it disappeared. The movie's prints disappeared right after its original release, and thus it's one of the few lost movies starring John Wayne. John Wayne plays former U.S. Army Captain John Delmont, who leaves retirement after discovering his father's journal, who went missing for years, only to find out he was left to die by a renegade. Delmont leads a wagon to California, going after his father's killer. Delmont also falls in love with a frontier woman played by Anne Bird, and it was one of Wayne's shortest motion pictures, with only a runtime of 59 minutes. The only stuff that has been found is a poster and 7 stills, though there are 40 that were found in total. The Quest. The Quest was a space ghost point-and-click adventure computer computer game made by Cartoon Network in 1995. It's widely remembered by many people, but for a long time, the CD disc was no longer to be found. It was rumored to be on a game sample of the same name. All, though many people remember playing this game, the CD was lost and was first mentioned on YouTube when the intro for it was shown by a user named Tim-Ryan in 2008. The game was later mentioned on X by Captain BZ at PAX East. For a long time, it was considered to be lost, and it wouldn't be until March 17th, 2019, when X user Alex McG uploaded the entire game on Mega. The Samsonadzes. Oh boy. The Samsonadzes. This was an animated television sitcom from the country of Georgia. No, not the state of Georgia. The country in Asia, in the Europe, in the Eurasia. Created and produced by Shalaba Ramishvili and began airing on the Georgian television network Imedi TV in November of 2009 and ended in sometime in 2010. Most people in the cartoon community will know that this cite this as being a cheap knockoff of the American Fox animated sitcom The Simpsons, with many similarities. Though, despite this, people consider it somewhat of a guilty pleasure, even the Roundtable state. It only lasted 18 episodes. Only 10 or 11 are only those being 10 and 11. The rest of the some are very hard to come up by the internet, very likely due to the series' general obscurity and short run. And an English dub of the series also exists, but it's entirely lost except for one clip from episode 13. Oh, and BBC News even got the show. Even BBC News reported about this show, talking apparently about the Russian leader Vladimir Putin being in it. I don't know. The Ted Knight Show. The Ted Knight Show, not to be confused with Too Close to Comfort, which also used to be named that at one point, was a short-lived sitcom starring the eponymous television star. It was a spin-off of a show I talked about before, another sitcom, Busting Loose, which is also mostly lost. This was even more unpopular than Busting Loose, airing from April 8th to May 13th of 1978, and only 6 episodes haven't been aired. No full episodes have surfaced, and all that exists is a promo as well as the opening credits. The Undead. The Undead is the partially found manuscript of Dracula by Bram Stoker, which is missing its first 102 pages. Over the decades, small parts and hints of the contents of the missing pages have been uncovered. And as it's unknown if the rest will see the light of day, as it's possible that the rest of that was pretty much destroyed, though I don't know. The Waverly Wonders. Despite the name, this has nothing to do with Wizards of Waverly Place. This was an NBC sitcom directed by Tim Dick Martin that stars former football star Joe Matt Namath. It aired in 1998, and it was the first series Namath had done, despite having received the nickname Broadway Joe for other roles in acting for movies such as Avalanche Express. The show was broadcast in the midst of a giant overhaul in NBC program that 3 series from the previous season, Little House on the Prairie, The Rock and Wonderful World of Disney on the air. It was done in order to compete with ABC and CBS. Joe Casey, played by Matt Namath, originally set to be named Harry Casey in the first scripts, is a retired basketball player who takes up a career in teaching. While he teaches history to his class of students, he is more focused on improving the school's basketball team as a head coach, seeing how the team has never won a game. In the midst of it all, he develops a romantic interest in the school's principal, played by Gwen Guilford, and finds himself in conflict with the school's former coach, among others. The, the show was pretty much criticized. Yeah, none of the only 3 episodes had aired. And only promos exist. However, the welcoming segment with Dean Martin and O.J. Simpson is currently held in the Mississippi State University archives, along with other promos for the show. So it's good to know parts of the series do still exist. The Person from Earth. The YouTube channel The Person from Earth was originally created in 2005. Not much is known about the identity. They most likely live in Europe or Asia and were estimated to be in between the ages of 10 and 19 when they originally made the channel. In 2013, the channel was deleted off of YouTube, and the user did not re-upload any other website. It's unknown what happened to the original creator that made them delete their channel. At the time before deletion, at least one of their videos had reached 130,000 views. Sides of the Universe 3, The Deeper Field, which has since been... It is known that all of the channel's videos were made with Celestia, a program made by Chris Laurel that lets the universe create and through a virtual version of the universe. The videos also use text-to-speech AI instead of a person's voice. And the only known re-upload, the Ivona text-to-speech voice named Eric, is used, which you may have heard if you're aware of any Go Animate videos. However, Size of the Universe episodes 1 and 2, along with Journey to the Universe videos, use on-screen text. So it's unknown whether this was the only video to use the text-to-speech program. 14 videos are known to exist. Of these, only 8 have been identified, and only 1 has been located. The other 13 videos are completely lost, and some of the exact video titles are unknown. And it's very unlikely others will be found. This just in. Back in 2004, Spike TV, now called Paramount Network, tried to hands out a political commentary cartoon, which was called This Just In. It did not pan out very well, apparently. The show was poorly animated as it used Flash, and combined with the boring nature of the show, led it to be canceled pretty quickly. Some actors like Tara Strong, Rob Paulson, and Phil Morris lent their voices for a number of side characters. There were originally believed to have been 4 episodes, but now we know that there are 6. 3 of them have been found. They're uploaded to YouTube by user Bob Kiwi. The first episode, along with episodes 5 and 6, completely lost. Unknown if a Paramount Plus release would happen, though it seems unlikely. Okay, I think this will be the last one for now. Tomb Raider Apocalypse. Tomb Raider Apocalypse was an episodic 2D platformer developed by Mind's Eye Interactive that was created exclusively for Sky Games game portal of Pan-European telecommunications conglomerate Sky. It was published over the course of 3 episodes between December 2002 and December 2003, with each play session costing 75 pence. Basically, it was the basic plot revolved around Lara Croft's attempts to recover the mythical Eye of Osiris, an object that can communicate between the earth and the spirit realm that holds the key to immortality. After a while, the games became unavailable after the Sky GameStar service was discontinued in 2015. As all the games were digital only, with no possible way to retrieve their contents being known, the chances of them including Apocalypse being found were unlikely unless one of the developers shares them. Though we do have a commercial and a 15-minute gameplay of one of the games, as well as some screenshots of all three. And that will be all for this week. Thank you guys for watching, and my storage is currently getting full, so I don't know if I'll get to continue this, but if I still can, I'll be glad to. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next week for more.